Oh, I'm live, I think. Yep, I am. All right. This is my first live from YouTube. I always do it on Facebook and then have to upload it over here. So maybe I'll have to share it over there. I think that sounds a little bit easier. Anyway, I don't know if anybody will be here. I'm a minute early because I just couldn't wait. So I want to talk about seeking. Are you tired of it? Are you tired of second guessing yourself? I am talking from a direct experience here. Direct. um, Peter's walking in circles already. He just got to work an hour ago. Anyway, you and I are no different. If you've been seeking for a long time, listening to the Mujis, to the Adias, to the Jeff Fosters and the Lisa Carnes and all, oh my goodness. Eckhart Tolle's. Now there's so many more. That it's in you. Can you trust that it's in you already? Our minds are what they do is compare. So you watch you feeling pretty good about yourself. You think there's a thought, oh, am I? Am I awake? Am I? I think I am. I think. Because you're not reacting to life like you used to. Sometimes you do. So that makes the contraction inside go, oh shit, I'm not awake. Because I'm reacting like I used to. This is constantly comparing to the way you were before, or you're not as good as the ideas and the whatever. You're never going to be like Adia. You're never going to be like Muji. I'm never going to be. We each have our own flavor of this, whatever this is, going from the thoughts reacting to your heart loving. And yes, in the timeline, non duality teaches us in the timeline, there's a me. That's the dream. We all know this. That's it. There's nothing more to it. The love that you are is only felt in the moment. In the moment. And there are so many times during the day that you're in the moment. That doesn't even sound right, but you know what I mean, because you can't put actual words to this because the words are duality, but you can feel into what I'm saying. You, the body mind mechanism that you are, is okay. There's nothing wrong with it. It's literally God, what do I want to say? Perfection. You can't do it wrong. It's just a thought that you did it wrong. And if somebody's reacting to something that you seemingly did wrong for them, for their experience of you, couldn't have been any other way. Can you trust that the love, God that you are is not separate? It doesn't frig up. It's doing you exactly the way it needs to for everyone experiencing. It's a tapestry of perfection that this could never put into motion when it feels so when you're stuck in your head of and it's creating emotions, negative emotions and anxiety or whatever. It's literally just a sensation in the body. It's literally just a sensation that we've labeled anxiety. You are okay. Always. You're not this body and mind. You are so much more than that. But we've not been told that we are more than that, and it's fostered like through the school system or whatever, life events when we're children. Things happen that make us try to fit into a mold that we're never gonna fit in. Can you stop trying fitting in the mold? Stop trying to fit in a mold of your own making. Innocently, you have not made it. It's just a reaction to the thoughts. We all wanna fit in. As human beings, we wanna fit in and feel like we belong. And when there are issues, somebody has a problem with you, that creates emotion. Oh, immediately I did something wrong. When we feel separate from God, we feel like we're totally believing that we are this body and mind. We feel like we can do it wrong. And it stands to reason. It has nothing to do with who you really are. It's just a reaction to life. We built these walls around our heart because a baby is wide open, just loving, happy, just being. And then there are times when it cries. There are times when this doesn't feel something's irritating, something's bothering it. So, but it wasn't safe to cry. Don't cry or I'll give you something to cry about. That's been handed down for generations. No blame on the parents. This wants to blame. That's what it does. It blames. And blaming doesn't get this body and mind, to realize that they're not doing it wrong and neither are you. When you realize that you're not this body and mind, you're so much more. When this goes to blame someone else, you can turn it around and see, oh, right. I'm not doing it wrong and neither are they. Big breath in. Once you start realizing that you can breathe out of this, I call it the ego storm. There's an ego storm going on. And when the storm is happening, there's so much tension. It creates so much tension and angst in this body that the minute you take a deep breath, bring it right down to your hips, right in the sides of your body, down to the hips. I didn't even know we could breathe down to your hips. But it's a beautiful thing bringing it right down because you cannot follow that breath down to your hips and entertain the ego storm going on. It's immediate get out of jail. Oh, I never said that before. It's immediate get out of jail card by breathing deep. As simple as that is, and now your mind's going to go, it can't be that easy. Well, it is. I'm here to tell you it is that simple. Can you imagine it being that simple. We aren't taught. We're taught to foster knowing, having to know, learn, learn, learn. Basically, this life thing is about unlearning everything you learned, unlearning, not knowing. This I know mind is locked. I know. We don't know anything. And you can access knowing within, not a knowing from a book or something you memorize or what. Like this talk is not coming from a no, well, it's coming through. I have Lori has nothing to do with this. When you get in a conversation with somebody, you're not telling yourself what you have to say. It's just coming out. Just like this hand is moving. Blah, blah, blah. It's all just happening. There's nobody inside here directing it. Can you be with that, not knowing? Can you be in a crowd of people and not know? Ooh, that's challenging to that ego. That ego is all about the knowing, and it has to know at all costs because it doesn't want to be wrong. So, what if you're wrong? Can you give yourself that freedom to be wrong? Can it be okay to be wrong? It's a tough one at first, but it only stings for a second and it's only stinging that mind. And that's another layer taken down, another layer gone. I don't need to know. I don't need to know. And that's okay. Imagine the change up in your life when you don't have to be right. Just imagine it when you're driving. Somebody pulling out in front of you. Hi, Alicia. I love you too. Mm. Somebody pulling out in front of you. Automatic reaction. What if you just took a breath and said, okay, come on in. I've been there trying to get on the interstate and somebody didn't yield, or somebody cut out, or I've cut out in front of somebody and went, oh shit, I'm sorry. But this is all being directed by something so much bigger than we are. And when we think we are doing it, how arrogant. If we think we're doing it wrong, even, how arrogant is that? Saying that God, life, love, whatever this is, can get it wrong. Everything is happening for you, not to you. You are not a victim. And you don't have to keep wondering, am I awake? Am I awake? Comparing to Alicia, even comparing to me. She's got it more than I do. No. Trust that intuition. Trust it. Don't second guess it. It knows. That God that you are knows. And it doesn't make a mistake, even if it looks like it's been scammed for a shit ton of money. And that's another thing, money. So much pain's wrapped up in money. When you believe you're this body and mind, that's lack. It's insidious. It's in everything. Everything. It rules you. It's constantly ruling everything you do. Can that be okay? When you can let that be okay, there's a big shift right there. Okay, that's the way it is right now. Yes, house, car, money, money. Yep. Let it go, girl. Let it go. Trust. Take that breath as soon as you get in that lack. Oh, money. Oh, that's all. That's a ego storm, is what I call it. That's my new thing. It's an ego storm, causing so much anxiety and inside this body, which anxiety, excuse me, is a sensation, like a contraction inside, feeling small. Breathe all the way down through it and feel the expansion. Shoulders come down, everything just relaxes when you let go and breathe and let go of this. And then your belly can relax. Mm. Hmm. Seems like it's over. Alicia, I don't know if you were here from the beginning. I was talking about, am I enlightened? Is the word, is the thought. Am I awake? Enlightened is a word. To me, it's a word that means the body feels lighter. You feel lighter in day to day stuff because, okay, all right. Yeah. Okay. So I was saying that the being what questioning, am I awake? Are you tired of it? I thought maybe we'd get together and realize that we already are and hold the space for everybody who's questioning that constantly because we always look at the others, the Mujis, the Adias, the Eckhart Tolles, the somebody else has always got it. We all are on this path. If you're listening to this, you're on a path of awakening. And there is no there to get to, and nobody is ahead of, well, it seems like, hi, babe. It seems like somebody's ahead and somebody's behind, but that's a mind shit. We're all already awake. It's just the layers of thought, what you're believing about yourself. And last night, Phoebe and I went to a meeting with this guy who's had a near death experience. John, he got us open and vulnerable, and everybody held the space for everybody going, coming, I mean, facing shit that's happened in the past. I mean, he just gives you a number. He told me, he said, "What happened to you and when you were 31?" And I was like, "Oh my god." That was right in the midst of the whole Bobby thing, going thinking that he was better and I was gonna leave Peter and the boys for something better. And so I that's why I have 0 judgment on anybody who cheats. That's a word. Cheating is a word. It's somebody who thinks something else is better, and that person is innocent in that belief because it's the adoration coming from the other person is just feeding the ego, and that's what we're taught love is. So I started questioning, do I love Peter? I didn't know what love was because that infatuation thing is a it's a magnet for the mind. Infatuation. You think they're making you feel good. They're just feeding that ego, which feels good. It within turn, it makes the body feel good because it's all positive thoughts about yourself, not about that person. That person is literally feeding the thoughts. So the limiting beliefs, the I'm not good enough, something's wrong with me, something bad's gonna happen, goes gets dormant while the ego is being fed positive things. I remember Bobby was all the little things, like even driving a standard. He's like, "Oh, you drive a standard?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, I do." And that was a ego hit. All little things like that and something new when you new and I'm a very friendly person. So I am always I'm talking with women and men the same way. I was always labeled a flirt when I'm just friendly. I noticed that, okay, well, I flirt. It's flirting with a guy, but it's friendly with a girl. What? What? And I believed that for a long time. That was shame. I'm a flirt. I'm bad. Mm. To see through this shit, that's what enlightening is because there's no more contraction. I mean, there still is, of course. I'm sure there's more shit in there, I'm sure. But a lot of it has lifted. So much so that there's proof right now because of that. Like I was telling Phoebe, I don't know if I told you, Alicia, about this 35-year-old young Mexican, nice looking boy, 35 years old. Now, if I was still here, that would be a huge feed because he tried to kiss me. He hugged me and went in for the kiss. And I was like, whoa. Okay. And I've talked to him repeatedly about the light that's already in him that he feels. Because we want to grab something that feels good and own it, keep it for ourselves. And that's not you're not because if you've given that person, we talked about this last night in the meeting, if you give that person uh, credit for making you feel good, then when the thoughts come back, you're going to blame them for making you feel bad when it has nothing to do with them. Nothing to do with them. But the ego could be like, oh, a 35-year-old young hot Mexican guy wants you. And it ain't that at all. I can't even tell you how freeing because it's been a pattern for me, for the me, the identity of Lori, that would stoke her ego and go down that pattern again, hurting Peter. Peter and I have each of us with our relationships have patterns. And when he is forbidding me to be with this guy, what I have to do there, I said to him, I'm not playing that game, honey. I'm not sleeping with anybody. He's not going to rape me. There's nothing bad that's going to happen. This has been life affirming for me in such a big way. It seems like, well, we were talking about enlightenment, lightened, being lighter in the body, because that is validation for the mind still. But that is part of how we're going through life is through this mind as but lifting that layer, bah, huge, huge. I just feel lighter. I wake up in the morning and oh my God, gratitude, so much gratitude. When we wake up, instead of feeling that contraction, or if you do feel that contraction when the Alicia, Lori, Phoebe come online, there's that breath and gratitude. Because I was labeling that anxiety. It's just a contraction in the belly. That's all it is, a contraction labeled by this as anxiety. It's just a feeling, a sensation. But we're not used to being in our bodies because this is fostered through school, and it's all about knowing and having to learn, and basically, this is about unlearning. Unlearning everything you learned. So what if you're in a crowd? Because that's what happened when I stopped watching the news. The crowd the crowd around me said, "Oh, you're not gonna be informed." I have to be informed. No, you don't. I've made it. I know it's 25. Okay, the first Gulf Storm War with Dan Rather coming on. I was like, this sucks. That's when I turned it off. And I need to look up when that first Gulf War was, which year to know. It's well been 25 years since I've watched the news. And you know what? I'm still living. I didn't die. Not being informed, I didn't die. Actually, what I told myself was if I need to know something, it's gonna be known. It's gonna show up. If not, then no. Like not watching the news during the pandemic. That's why it didn't affect me. And living in Florida, thank you. We had just moved here. Literally January is when we got done in Texas and started living here full time. January of 2020. And this freaking thing hit in March. And each person that was supposed to come here, there's only one couple that hasn't been here, but each person that came here has come here. Their lives have significantly changed when they went home. Ah, this likes to say, "Oh, yeah." I don't know, but it's kind of fun to watch. It's really fun to watch. Anyway, I think we're done unless you guys don't have any questions. You guys, I love you so much. God, Phoebe, that was so awesome last night. Oh, but Thursday, we leave at 7 a.m. to go to Maine Thursday. So I ain't gonna be there next week. If you go, let me know. Let's talk about it. And fun to watch. Aw. I have fun. This is my favorite thing to do. You know that. Has been forever. Alicia's been my biggest fan. Actually, you both have. And I don't care if it doesn't go anywhere. I just love talking about it. Snow, yeah. I'm going to be where there's snow and cold. I know it's 73 degrees. I have my windows and doors open today. Phoebe probably doesn't because it's probably too cold for her, but I'm dressed for it. And it's very windy. It's going to be a rainy, nasty weekend, apparently, but that's okay because that light in here carries us through. Mhm. Mhm. All right, you guys. Thank you so much for being here. I love you. I love everybody. And it's so easy when you love this to love everybody. It's it's not even because everybody is you. And if there's an issue, contraction with something said or whatever, there I gotta look inside. There's another layer to be looked at. All right. Mwah. I see you guys again